Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Energy Works. Blaine and I have been trying to get together for an episode for, seems like a long time. I've done solos. She's done solos. I've done a couple big ideas episodes. We finally are sitting here together. Hi, Blaine.
Hi, Lauren. It's a big day today. We've done a lot today.
We have done a lot today. Blaine and I have been on Zoom with our first ever online 300-hour yoga advanced training program, and they just graduated 45 minutes ago.
Yeah, it's really exciting, and it was emotional. I had to kind of get myself grounded and switch gears to flip on lights and a microphone to talk about it, but it's so present with us right now that what better time to talk about it?
Yeah, we wanted to come on right away. So we're still in that really buzzy and grateful and expansive feeling after sharing time with these students who have gone so deep and spent so much time learning all of these advanced practices of energy medicine yoga. And we just wanted to share that excitement just because we're excited, and we feel like now all of you out there in Podland are part of our community, and we're very community oriented. We really value our community so much. And we've taken these students really deep in all of these practices. And what we were talking about before we got on here is that these practices, they're on a continuum. And so you can enter them really easily, and then you can go as deep or as high or as far as you want to go with them and just keep learning and learning and learning. And some of these practices are also taught in other yoga traditions, but what we do in energy medicine yoga is unique, and it's not found in any other yoga tradition. And so specifically, we were talking about how we work with chakras in EMYoga. And chakras is one of those systems that if you've ever taken a yoga class, you've heard of chakras, but you've never heard of them the way we teach them. And we teach a manifestation practice that is incredibly powerful, kind of mind-bogglingly so, and healing, which is kind of our primary little niche that we work in, is energetic healing, but healing for trauma and stress. And we also do that in ways that are different from a lot of traditional yoga. I know that kind of trauma-informed is really the buzzword in yoga today, which thankfully that's starting to be the case, where people are really grounded in how to work with people that have experienced trauma. But the limitations that we have found with that is they know how to kind of kid glove you, but not how to help you move through it and beyond it. And so that's something that we really spend a lot of time with learning and growing through in EMYoga.
Yeah, it's kind of like where to begin. I'll take it up a level for those of you who I know in podcast land, like you said, Lauren, we have EMYoga students and followers of EMYoga and people who have been following you for well over a decade, me for maybe almost that long, who know a lot about energy medicine yoga, but some listeners I know because I see comments and that sort of thing that people just found us and now they're addicted and all that sort of thing are newer. And so just to share about our teacher trainings a little bit. So Lauren created the energy medicine yoga certification around 2014, I think it was, is when she created the curriculum, and it was all travel, and she would fly around the United States and go to yoga studios and do it. It was a 4-day training. She would do it in person, but it was created for people who were already yoga teachers. And so we weren't teaching what is a down dog, what is an up dog, what is a sun salutation. We assumed that everyone, and I say we because I wasn't even there yet, that the collective we assumed that everyone coming into this training already knew all that. And so it was a requirement. You weren't, and exceptions were made for personal study and what have you, but the intent of the program was that you had completed a 200-hour yoga teacher training. You knew all the basics of teaching yoga and yoga poses and practices and kind of, I called the 200-hour undergrad, right? You'd been to undergraduate school of yoga. And then wanted to learn about the specialty of energy medicine yoga and would join Lauren for a certification program. It was about 30 hours long, I think, about 4 days in energy medicine yoga. And that's what we had in the company for several years. And then pre-pandemic, Lauren created an in-person, we called it master training back then. Now I can say we because I was a student in that program. It was all in person and it ended right about when the pandemic started. And so then shifted online to this online program, which we're graduating the first class of. They've been working on this for 4 years and it's very, very intense. And so that is what we're talking about today. But I also want to share that we now also have an energy medicine yoga 200-hour. In the training world, we call it synchronous and asynchronous. Part of it is asynchronous. It's recordings you watch on your own. Part of it is synchronous. Me, Lauren, and one of the other teachers is on with you in person. And it's the first ever energy medicine yoga 200-hour. And it is starting on February 15th. So if you're interested in that, depending on when you listen to this podcast, you can enter it. So a little bit of a sidebar there, but there's kind of phases in yoga teacher trainings. Many people get many masters in yoga. That's why I call the 200-hour undergraduate. Ours is a little bit special because we do teach the EMYoga in it. But in general, it is still undergraduate. This is all the basics of yoga. And then when someone comes out of a 200-hour, they often decide they want to go into maybe meditation or yoga nidra or philosophy, or, there's different specialties that you can branch into as a yoga teacher once you're done with a 200-hour. But we just graduated our first class of online 300-hour EMYoga teachers. It was called the Advanced Teacher Program.
And so we wanted to share that with all of you because there seems to be this wave that's building of people really looking for things that work and ways to anchor in. And also, we get a lot of people come to us who've said, whether they're teachers or just yoga practitioners, I've been practicing for 10, 20, 30, some 40, 50 years. And usually I feel like the most of this that we've gotten is like the 20 to 25 year practitioner or teacher. And they're like, I was kind of getting bored. I was kind of getting over it. I didn't know really what to do next. And then I found energy medicine yoga, and you can hear it in their email, like, and now I'm so excited. And they're all off in a new direction because they have found these tools that are so powerful and so simple to deploy. And a lot of them feel like I did. I remember one in particular, I felt like, how did it take me so long to learn this thing? Like it should have been given to me when I was 7 years old, and here I am now, way past that. Why did it take so long? And so we get a lot of that with teachers and with students, that they wish, oh, if I had just found this earlier, but at least I found it now. And so I share that because we do have this new training, but also we offer a lot of classes that are we call them the PC classes, the public course, or the public class, where you don't have to be a yoga teacher if you want to manifest something in your life. And I know, a few years back, manifestation was just the word or the term du jour, and everything was about how to manifest this, and then the vision boards, and everyone saw The Secret and all that kind of stuff. And then, like the vision boards kind of went away, and people are like, it never really happened for me. And those little sticky notes all over the house are just gathering dust. And we created a course that we called sort of in-house The Secret Behind the Secret. Like, why doesn't it work when it doesn't work? And how can we actually make it work? Meaning, how do we understand the physics of co-creating with the etheric field from which we all arise. Some of you might be like, what did she just say? I did not understand a word of that. But that's kind of the point, is there are these literal scientific modalities that we haven't been taught, but that are real. And that when we do start to learn them and use them for manifestation or for healing or for any kind of spiritual growth, that we see tremendous changes in people, because these tools are really anchored in the physiobiology of you, the psychophysiobiology. It's like mind, body, spirit wrapped in the science of physics. And when you start to learn it, it's so simple too. I'm using these words that make it sound like way more complex than it is. So simple that you learn these things and you're like, why? Why aren't these being taught in every grammar school, in every high school, in every college? And so we're trying to spread this as much as we can so that we can help and support people, especially, I mean, manifestation is one thing. Like, that's great. And there's things that we want to manifest, but the healing piece, that's like primary. That's not, well, I could take it or leave it. Healing is primary. If you are struggling with an issue that you can't heal, then it colors every part of your life, and generally not in a good way. Beyond that, like, okay, I learned this because of this big thing, but nobody wants those kind of lessons, right? We get them anyway. But really what we want to do is we want to heal. We want to learn how to do that in a way that's easeful and that takes our emotionality into account and consideration. And more even than that, that we have support of like-minded people and community. And that's a huge piece of energy medicine yoga, is building the container for us to be in these spaces together, feeling grounded, feeling centered, feeling supported. And that's why it was just such a joy this afternoon to experience this incredible celebration with these women who have worked so hard and have bonded so close and are now about to take this out into their communities. You can find where we have EMYoga teachers all over the country and the world at emyoga.net. You can also find our courses and classes, and we're going to drop a few into the show notes here, especially that healing course and the manifestation course, because those are the two we get asked about the most often. Because everyone, right? You want to heal and you want to win the lottery, right? Like, those are the things that everybody wants. So we want to support you in that.
Yeah, that's I'm trying to choose my words here. There are layers of depth too in each of these things. And so three of the many topics that are covered very deeply in the advanced teacher program that are accessible to anyone in the general public via, like Lauren said, Lauren has 3 books that all of these are touched on. And we have 3 courses that are available to the public. They are the manifestation techniques that are working with your unique energy that Lauren touched on. The healing, Lauren has created I don't know if created is the right word, but there's using the 5 elements from Chinese medicine and the healing that is thousands of years old, and the methodology that it's like an energetic technology that they understood deeply. It comes from nature. It is an energetic technology from nature that the saints and the sages distilled in this time thousands of years ago, when it was really just people who are animals with the other animals out in nature who needed healing. And there were people who dedicated their talents and their lives to being in nature and being with all the animals and understanding the cycles and the healing and what gets out of balance and how to bring it back in balance, and taking that framework into a very, I'll use the word digestible, like Lauren distilled it into this very doable, digestible way that you can heal yourself using this technology. So that's the healing piece. And then also chakras. Our lineage comes from Donna Eden and Eden Energy Medicine. Donna can see energy, and she sees the energy of the chakras. And she has worked with thousands of clients doing what she sees. And then, other people basically demanded from her, you must teach other healers how to do this. And she did that. And it really makes what is taught in a typical 200-hour yoga teacher training about chakras like preschool. I mean, it's just so reductionist. And Donna does not see it in this reductionist way that we are taught in the West. And the way that she has determined to work with chakras for your own energetic healing, balancing, and evolution is brought into the energy medicine yoga class. And so if you're interested in chakras, it's really probably the most eye-opening thing. If you're someone who basically knows yoga and is interested in chakras, it is probably the thing we do that's the most unique and different because of the way that the energy is seen and felt, and it's really changing. So the healing, the manifestation, and the chakras, I think, are three of the most impactful things that go very, very deep in our advanced trainings, less deep in our less advanced trainings, but also available to the general public.
Mm-hmm. That's a great distillation. That chakra piece, when we go in and teach that to yoga teachers already, they're basically all just floored. They're floored with the intellectual piece of it because that's where we start. We just start talking about the differences and the similarities and all of that. And they're, oh, okay. And then when we get into the experiential part, where you literally have your hands in energy fields, that's when the light bulbs start just popping off everywhere. And people are just, this is amazing. And then the piece that takes it even further is that is also a very healing practice. And healing the past and preparing for the future, which is not something that you hear often in chakra classes in sort of the mainstream Western yoga that most of us have kind of come up with or come up in. It's really, you'll hear about, balancing or opening your chakras and things like that just really, when you start to learn the technology is the word that you use, but also the blueprints for them, you just see that they're so much more dynamic and so much more complex than we've been led to believe. And so it's fascinating. And also, despite the fact that this information is ancient, powerful, transformative, all of those things, it's also quite simple to deploy, much simpler than the technology that we are used to using every day, like our computers and our phones. And I don't know how many times I've had to have somebody help me find a setting inside something for my computer. Just the other day, I had to change my router and my electrician was over and he's like, okay, we got to change the setting to make this work. And it took us 20 minutes to find out where, and we were YouTubing and Googling, how do we find the setting? This is the kind of technology that we work with every day. And we're just okay, that's what I have to do. But then when we come to the technology of our bodies, we're well, I don't know, it's too much. It's really much more simple than the exterior technologies that we are really embroiled in. And I think bring so much more beneficial benefits than the technology that really kind of can skew our worldviews and take us out of direct community and communication with each other and do all kinds of crazy things that have been documented to not be so healthy, despite the facts that, we couldn't do our Zoom classes if we didn't have technology. So we like that. We like the good parts, but the discernment piece of learning when to take and when to leave, that's a big piece of what we learn with the technology of our physical bodies.
Yeah, we have a podcast editor and producer. Her name is Sarah, and she gives us ideas or feedback for podcasts. And one of her consistent messages is people want to know more about Energy Medicine Yoga, the company. What do you teach? What do you do? Because Lauren and I put our teacher hats on all the time, and we're teaching techniques or what we're studying, or Lauren's bringing in experts to talk about different subjects, but we don't talk about so much what the company is. And we have two arms of the company. One is for serving just the general public, anyone who is interested in the intersection of yoga and energy medicine, and doing what they can do to heal themselves, empowering themselves to maybe stay out of doctor's offices and take care of themselves to the extent that they can. Just anybody, the general public. That's one arm of the company. And then another arm of the company is for yoga teachers, people who now want to become yoga teachers with the 200-hour, or are already yoga teachers and want to learn energy medicine yoga or the advanced program. And so it's just something that we thought we would highlight in our joy about graduating the first group of this online ATP, and how what they learn, you can learn in your own way via other ways that we have at Energy Medicine Yoga for you to learn. So if any of this, the chakras, the working the star for your healing or manifestation, you're like, I want to learn more about this. Lauren has written 3 books. That's probably the most affordable option. The first is called Energy Medicine Yoga. The second is called Energy Medicine Yoga Prescription. The third is called Energy to Heal. And so there's 3 books there. And then we have 3 courses that are not as inexpensive as the books, but not crazy expensive. We'll drop information in the show notes. But the one about manifestation is called Ultimate Manifestation Course. The one that is about working the star is just like the book. It's called The Energy to Heal. It is a partner of the book, but you don't have to have the book to do it. And then Chakras is called the power, something about the power of the chakras, unleashing the power of the chakras, something about the chakras. And so anyone can start to, just on your own, learn about this. The information is out there for you to get. Lauren, do you want to share anything else?
I think you really covered it pretty well, except maybe one of the third arms. Are we eventually going to have 8 arms of our company just to kind of be so yogic? I don't know. We'll see. But a third arm that's just started, and we shared about that a little bit ago, is reclaiming the marketplace from these big multinational retailers that are doing things like fast fashion and so much plastic and just exploiting workers, exploiting the environment, and really taking the marketplace away from the people. And so we want to start to bring the marketplace back. If any of you have done any traveling at all, or maybe just even in your own hometown, you have a farmer's market, or you go to craft markets when you're traveling, and you always get something from some place that you've been that was created by someone local, and that's one of your favorite pieces of jewelry or clothing or hair tie or something like that, because that is this ancient trade, is one of the most ancient ways of interconnecting humanity. And so we wanted to be part of that and part of being the disruptors. You know, Amazon started as a disruptor. And whether you agree with what he disrupted or not, you can't disagree that that was a huge disruptor, disrupting first bookstores and now just purchasing in general. So why can't we disrupt the disruptors? Like, we're over it. Everyone's over Facebook. Everyone's over Amazon. So let's put our money where our mouth is and disrupt the disruptors and bring us back to the grassroots of interpersonal trade, intercommunity trade, and the joys of the marketplace. And so we started an online store, and we're carrying products made by small, at the moment, all woman-owned companies. And we have a distributor who's a small, there we go, a male-owned company, but an independent company. We don't do our fulfillment with Amazon. We do it with a small company that's local. And so we are, and in that, I know, circle back to my full point is you can get all of my books there and journals. We are a huge journaling school. Like journaling is a big part of learning and a big part of creativity and finding out the things that you need in your unconscious that are lurking there, ready to kind of tell you and guide you and give you intuition. So we've got journals there and all kinds of fun stuff to support you on your journey and to help us reclaim what, I don't know, keeps trying to be taken away, but we be many and they be few. Arundhati Roy said that, and I love that. I don't like the we us because we really are all interconnected, but there's something really potent in that statement. We be many and they be few. And what that really means to me is when you or me or any of us are feeling overwhelmed by things that are going on in the world that feel out of our control and there's nothing we can do about it, when we come together in community with shared purpose and shared love, there's really nothing that we can't do. So that is a big mission of EM Yoga. And all of our classes are infused with that. Every part of our company is infused with that. And we love that you're a part of our community too. So thank you. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sharing when you drop your notes into the comment section. We read them all and we're cheered by finding connections with all of you across the globe. Let's have more of that.